My name is Rebecca Brindle. My speech is titled The Morality of Birth Control by Margaret Sanger. Margaret worked as a nurse in New York where she watched countless women die of careless abortions and sexually transmitted diseases. Therefore, she partnered with the American Birth Control League to found the Birth Control Review, which was a journal meant to inform married women about birth control. She also opened the first birth control clinic in the United States and established organizations that led to the Planned Parenthood Federation of America. Originally, this speech was to be delivered at the Town Hall Theater. Upon reaching the stage, however, the police chief arrested Margaret, but soon released her because of insufficient evidence. This drew media attention to the birth control movement. Therefore, on November 18th, the meeting continued. This speech was considered to be great because it was a major stepping stone in the legalization of birth control. The police raid drew the attention of major officials who then brought it to the attention of the mayor. Margaret states in the second paragraph of her speech that scientists, educators, theologians, and medical professionals were all asked about their opinion of birth control, whether or not they agreed. Her audience ranged from college students to major influences among the government of New York, and they all gathered to hear her views on the controversial topic of whether or not women should have the right to choose whether or not they are ready for a child. Margaret uses mostly logos or logic to persuade the people to consider the benefits of controlling the size of the family unit. Her reasoning is usually followed by a rhetorical question, forcing the audience to think logically of the situation. Also, she used anaphora to convey a sense of community among the supporters. Anaphora is a repetition of key phrases such as "we stand," "we believe," and "we claim." Now I hope you enjoy my speech entitled The Morality of Birth Control by Margaret Sanger. The one issue upon which there seems to be most uncertainty and disagreement exists in the moral side of the subject of birth control. It seemed only natural for us to call together scientists, educators, members of the medical profession, and the theologians of all denominations to ask their opinion upon this uncertain and important phase of controversy. Letters were sent out to the most eminent men and women in the world. We asked in this letter the following questions. First, is overpopulation a menace to the peace of the world? Second, would the legal dissemination of scientific birth control information through the medium of clinics by the medical profession be the most logical method of checking the problem of overpopulation? Third, would knowledge of birth control change the moral attitude of men and women toward the marriage bond or lower the moral standards of the youth of the country? Fourth, do you believe that knowledge which enables parents to limit the families will make for human happiness and raise the moral, social, and intellectual standards of the population? We sent such a letter not only to those who we thought might agree with us, but we sent it also to our known opponents. We stand on the principle that birth control should be available to every adult man and woman. We believe that every adult man and woman should be taught the responsibility and the right use of knowledge. We claim that women should have the right over their own body and to say if she shall or if she shall not be a mother as she sees fit. We further claim that the first right of a child is to be desired, while the second right is that it should be conceived in love, and the third that it should have a heritage of sound health. The reckless abandonment of the impulse of the moment and the careless regard for the consequences is not morality. The selfish gratification of temporary desire at the expense of suffering to lives that will come may seem very beautiful to some, but it is not our conception of civilization, or is it our concept of morality. It is right to control the size of the family, for by this control and adjustment we can raise the level and the standards of the human race. While nature's way of reducing her numbers is controlled by disease, famine, and war, primitive man has achieved the same results by exposure of infants, the abandonment of children, and by abortion. Birth control is a better method. It is more civilized, for it involves not only greater forethought for others, but finally a higher sanction for the value of life itself. We desire to stop at its source the disease, poverty, and feeble-mindedness and insanity which exist today, for these lower the standards of civilization and make for race deterioration. We know the masses of people are growing wiser and are using their own minds to decide their individual conduct. The more people of this kind we have, the less immorality shall exist. For the more responsible people grow, the higher do they and shall they attain real morality.